They say a story that in the beginning of the Rebbe's Nasias, a few years into the Rebbe's Nasias, there was a certain feedback that came back to the Rebbe, that there were multiple people of different circles outside Lubavitch that had 2 points of criticism about the Rebbe's Oifin HaHanhaga. One point was that the Rebbe seems to work very independent. He's not consulting all of the other circles, or what they would like to call today, all the different Das Teiras. And the Rebbe kind of, charting the path independently with confidence and clarity. So people were taken aback. Where's the collaboration of Klal Yisrael working together? Consult other people, especially other people who are much older, etc. Here in America for longer. So point number one, taina number one, was the lack of collaboration and the abundance of independence. Point number two was that the Rebbe had an ein reidin about the medrash of Nisava HaKadosh Baruch Hu Liyas Leidira B'Tachtoinim. And the way it came back to the Rebbe was like, since when did this Maimer Chazal become the principle and guiding point of Yiddishkeit? So whoever brought this to the Rebbe, I don't know. Chaim Gutnick brought this to the Rebbe, but the Rebbe's response was that Achas Metoretzes Bashniya, that the second taina really answers the first taina. If there are people that do not understand the centrality, that this Maimer Chazal really clarifies the why of the entire Yiddishkeit and the purpose for everything that we do and drives and informs every decision, then who are you going to the table with to discuss collaboratively what's the strategy for strengthening Yiddishkeit? So in other words, by the Rebbe, it was very, very clear, and the Rebbe communicated it straight from the beginning of the Nesias, from the very first Farbrengen of Yud Shevat, and the Rebbe communicated it throughout the entire Nesias, continues to communicate to us that what is the why? Why are we here? Why Chabad Lubavitch? Why do we have our own yeshivas? Why are we unique? What is our unique? Is the focus of Nisava LeHaKadosh Baruch Hu Liyas Leidira B'Tachtoinim, that our mission of Deir HaShvi is Lahamshich Gilei HaShechina Lamata Pashat Kipshutei, to bring Mashiach into the consciousness of the world, to bring Mashiach into the lifestyle of the world, and through that to Pasha bring Mashiach B'Poyel Mamish Gula Mitzvah Shleima. So, Bichlal, when a person focuses more on the why, so to speak, the purpose, and gets less carried away with the what, it brings a tremendous amount of clarity. So let me just explain this a little bit. I'll try to explain it to the best. Most oftenly, you can stop a person and ask him what is it that he does. Or it's easy to tell someone else what they should be doing. Right? A lot of people have eitzes for others. The what is the easiest thing to get in touch with. What are you doing? What you should be doing? What you shouldn't be doing? What about the why? Why is it? Why are we doing what we're doing? Why shouldn't we do it a different way? So when we focus on the why, it brings a tremendous clarity, because be'emes, the what is supposed to be born out of the why, and not vice versa. So let's just take, in the world of yeshivas, which is maybe, the waters that I swim in, for the majority of my time. So in the world of yeshivas, it is easy to articulate about many yeshivas, what is it that they do? This is what they do. This is what you should do. This is what you shouldn't do. Different yeshivas have different policies. They have a handbook, and the handbook articulates all the whats, all the do's and the don'ts. How many handbooks articulate the why? Why is it? Why is it that in this yeshiva, such and such is the policy? Often, you have not just distinction from yeshiva to yeshiva, but within the same yeshiva, there can be a lack of agreement about certain policies. And what usually that stems from is because there was never a real conversation to clarify why we're doing what we're doing. So in other words, let's take an example. In a yeshiva, you can have one menahel that feels it's very, very important to focus heavily on the learning, on the academics, on the rigor, to focus tremendously on the dress code, how the bacher walks around, to focus tremendously on many other disciplines of what they would consider part of yeshiva and part of Tamchit Mimim. There's someone else in the very same yeshiva that may feel we should focus much more on the Varamkeit and the Messiah of Yiddishkeit. Why is it that we're learning? What's Yiddishkeit about? Don't get so carried away. A Mishnah more, a Mishnah less, a Blat Gemara more, a Blat Gemara less. The dress code is perfect, it's not perfect. What does it make a difference? Where does this disagreement really come from? It's not that they disagree on the what. Be'emes, where they disagree is on the why. Why do we have this yeshiva? Why do we, in other words, what is Tamchit Mimim about? When we can get clarity on the purpose of it, then the policies would follow in suit. When a person has a Yom Holedes, the Rebbe talks about a person taking some time. One of the heroes for Yom Holedes is that there's hisboidedus, to make a cheshbon hanefesh. In making a cheshbon hanefesh, there's also two ways that you can make a cheshbon hanefesh. Some of us make a cheshbon hanefesh that's very much what oriented. What did I do and what I didn't do? What I could have done, what I should have done, and what I didn't. There's another type of a cheshbon hanefesh which is deeper and very helpful, and that is a cheshbon hanefesh to try once a year to go back to a why. In other words, what is my purpose? What is it that I'm trying to do? We're all living life, we're doing things, we're running through our day, we're running through our responsibilities. But did we ever stop and think, why? What is it? In other words, the what, the deeper what, the what of the purpose. My father, for one of his birthday yechidisin, asked the Rebbe to tell him what's his tafkid, what's his purpose. He was hoping the Rebbe would give him clarity, tell him exactly why he's here, and with this he would be able to drive straight with a lot of clarity. So the Rebbe answered him as follows. The Rebbe said, it's difficult to know by oneself what's his unique mission. It is even more difficult to tell someone else what their unique mission is. So in other words, the Rebbe was not about to tell him what is his why, but instead the Rebbe gave him the following tool. The Rebbe told him that there's a general rule that when a person has a talent in something, aber es kommt an schwer, that's usually a sign that that's where your biggest oitzer is. The biggest treasure chest that you have to be megala is the area in your life that von ein Seite you're talented. In other words, the difficulty is not because it's beyond your capabilities. Your capabilities are there. Aber es kommt dann mit Schwierigkeiten. Either mibachutz, that you cannot accomplish it because there are things getting in the way, or mibifnim, you're lacking the motivation, you're lacking the willpower, you're lacking the discipline. But it's not for a lack of capability. Adarabah, you know with the honest cheshbon nefesh that the Eibishter gave you the capability. And the only thing holding it back is the meniz v'ikuvim, either internally or externally. So in other words, when a person's looking for his why, the Rebbe gives this tool to look at what did the Eibishter give you, was kommt dann schwer. Similarly, when it comes to Yud Shevat, it's a time for us to make a cheshbon nefesh of Chassidim, a cheshbon nefesh in our iskashrus. And again, the cheshbon nefesh can look in two ways. The cheshbon nefesh could be, am I strong enough in my iskashrus in the kiyum and milui hayros of the Rebbe? Do I say my chitas every day without interruption? Do I complete my Rambam? Do I learn it? Do I understand it? Am I going on Mivtzoyim? Am I investing in Hafat Samayanos, in Limudin Yonigul Mashiach? I can focus on all of the what's that the Rebbe told us to do. But Yud Shevat is also a time to focus and reconnect to the why. Why is it? What did the Rebbe want from us? What is the purpose? What is our unique mission of the Rashvi? The unique mission of the Rashvi is Nesava Kodesh Baruch Hu Liyis Lidira B'Tachtoinim. That existed from Sheishis Mei Bereishis. But what's the matar of the Rashvi? To make that taiva a reality. To bring that Lahamshich Gilui Shchina Lamata Me'asarat Tvachim. When a person gets in touch with this, when a person gets in touch with this mission, the purpose, first of all, it invigorates him to go further with the chayis. Second of all, we will learn that when we get in touch with our why, we are much more unified. There is much more achtos. There is much more agreement than the lack thereof. So l'chaim, we should all gain clarity, and be'ikar, not just clarity, but chizuk, in connecting to the Rebbe's mission, and the Rebbe's purpose, and the Rebbe's shlichos that he gave all of us to accomplish Bias HaMashiach B'Poyal Mamish.